What's up everybody, AnimeX here, and in this video I will be trying out a new form of story, or what if style if you want to even call it that. In this video I will not be changing anything that would have happened within the original story of Naruto by making a certain change, like say giving Naruto a Sharingan, making him a new Chi, or anything like that. Instead I'll be making my own character from the ground up and placing them within the world of Naruto, similar to like an avatar of myself and you guys, the people who are watching the video. As the title and thumbnail suggests, I'll just be talking about what I think would happen if I were in Naruto, and by me, I just essentially mean like me placing my own character within there. Don't worry about like me being too powerful and one-shotting everybody. I will want to keep Naruto being like somewhat consistent and just have a certain feel to it. As you guys will be able to see, will not be making him too strong or broken in any way, shape, or form. I generally have no expectations for this video doing all that well, since this isn't my usual form of story, so I won't bother putting a like goal on this. Seeing as how this is a passion project for me rather than something I expect to blow up on the channel, I'll post new parts or chapters of the series whenever I can record one and just get it out on, onto YouTube, onto the channel in general. If this does really well, I may, be able to do it more regularly, but as for the time being, depending on how it does, I guess, I'll just be posting it kind of sporadically whenever I can get a new chapter of this out. Anyways, I'll be getting to the story, setting, and all that good stuff right now. So, without further ado, let's get started. We start this story with the original character, Kirai Kadoku, running through the streets of Konoha, stolen food in his arms, with a grown man chasing him down with a butcher knife. As Kirai rushes through the streets, he feels his arms and legs grow tired, since he's been running for all of 30 minutes trying to get back home and lose this guy, but he can't seem to escape him. Kirai, for a brief second, considers stopping to return the food to him, but as he runs, he hears from behind a death threat from the butcher, so his legs pick up speed, and he continues to push himself and run down an alley that seems to be a dead end. He looks around for a few seconds, and he knows that he'll be killed right then and there if he doesn't figure out a way out of this area, so he decides to scan his surroundings, and notices that there are a few loose bricks that he can use as footholds in order to climb up the building and get out of the butcher's range. He then leaps up onto the wall and starts climbing. As he does this, the man that was chasing him earlier turns the corner and charges at him while he is on the wall. Kirai's leg is then grabbed just before he can leap onto the next loose brick, and he feels himself being dragged from the wall, then slammed into the ground by this mass of a man. Kirai hits the ground, and his body bounces across a disgusting alley as he lays there, motionless, really hurt from that last attack from that man, and just kind of broken. The leg that was grabbed is throbbing and Kirai himself is in pain, but knowing his situation, he gets up and leaps into a bowing position. "I'm sorry for stealing your food, sir, it's just that..." Kirai's words are then cut off as he is then kicked in the face while bowing to this man. "I don't care for your apologies, kid. I warned you if I caught you, I'd kill you." The man then grabs Kirai's leg once more and lifts him off of the ground, holding him upside down. Kirai's different colored eyes seem to be staring directly at the large man, unwavering and lacking fear, but there seems to be a quiet determination to live and escape this situation. "I'm truly sorry, sir. I'll repay you when I can." Kirai then summons some chakra into his opposing leg and slams it into the man's head, which makes him release his grasp on his leg, and Kirai falls to the ground and darts off in the moment of confusion. The man isn't holding his bleeding nose, as Kirai narrowly escaped death and he comes home. After knowing for sure that he escaped the man, Kirai does double back once more, heading back to his real house, the one that he actually lives in, and he walks home. He walks in, opening the door, and enters. "I'm home. Yui, Nico, I brought food." Kirai says this as he unwraps the food that he stole and places it on the dinner table. Then, Kirai, with his new injured leg, limps upstairs to go wake up his sisters. "Yui, Nico, I brought food. Come downstairs already. If you don't come downstairs, I'm going to eat it all." Kira then hears his two sisters abruptly wake up and walk with him downstairs to go eat. After going downstairs, all of them sit at the table and hold hands to give a quick blessing over the food before they eat. Kirai, who is the youngest, eats the least amount, taking a very small portion and adding it onto his plate, while his oldest sister, Yui, eats half, and the other middle child, Nico, eats the other half. In between chewing and chomping down on her food, Yui speaks up. How'd you get this food, by the way? Kirai's face then turns beet red as he puts his head down in embarrassment. I stole it. Again? Yui cries out. Kirai, you know that stealing isn't okay, and it's dangerous. What would happen if he caught you? Kirai's face turns even hotter and redder as the embarrassment truly does show on his face. I'm truly sorry, Yui, but you guys know as well as I do that if I don't steal or make money somehow, we won't be able to eat, and Mom's medical bills won't get paid. Yui's stern tone and facial expression then soften as she knows that he doesn't steal for fun and he's only doing what's necessary to keep the family afloat. Never stealing too much for them to eat and never quite stealing, just stealing quite enough. She then reaches across the table and rubs her little brother's head. Kirai, a little kid like you should not have to worry about keeping the family afloat. Let your older sisters handle it. Kirai's eyebrows scrunch up when he hears this and he stands up. I'm not a little kid anymore, Yui. I'm 6. I'm old enough to count, and I'm old enough to go to the Ninja Academy now. So you don't need to treat me like a little kid that you need to protect. Kira then stuffs his face with the rest of his food on his plate and walks up to his room before lying down on his creaky and dusty bed. You and Nico still think I can't take care of myself or them. Don't they understand? I have to keep them safe. Kira then turns to a picture of his family. One of the last pictures that he took, or that they took, where their family was whole and complete as a family. And as he looks at it, as he sees his mother and father, his vision fades to black. As Kirai fades into the dream realm, he finds himself recalling one of his strongest memories of his now deceased father. The day that he told Kirai what his responsibility was, and it was also the day that he was deployed on a mission that he never came back from. His father, Akio Kadoku, was a Jonin ninja who was well respected and praised by his peers for his abilities, his talent, and everything that a ninja could possibly want. He was incredibly efficient with his missions, and it was rare that someone like him, someone of his status, would ever come back from a mission injured, making the complete and total loss of his father and his death sudden and unexpected. Some people speculate that there was a coup in the middle of the mission. Some people think that there was jealousy, that there was some bad blood, and that's why he was killed. But Kirai was never told this. He was just told that his dad had died in combat. Even though this is a traumatic memory, Kirai's mind focuses on the sentence that was last said to him before his father left that day. Before he, finally, it was just the last time he would see his father. Kirai was only 4 then. It's been 2 years, but he had been a pretty smart kid that was receptive to teaching, but for some reason had hated conflict more than anything. Very unlike a child, Kirai's mind replays the events leading up to his dad leaving. Dad, you know I don't want to become a shinobi like you. I hate fighting. So why? Why do you force me to learn how to use chakra and jutsu? Hakio, being the good-natured person and father that he was, listened to his son and laughed at this. Even though it was a well-thought-out sentence, an idea that his son had formed, he's actually surprised, but he still holds it in a funny regard. Well, son, even though I'm teaching you the basics of being a ninja, I do truly hope that you never become one. Nor do I hope that you use what I taught you to combat people for your own selfish reasons. But I teach you what I teach you for them. His father then points upstairs, speaking of Kirai's mother and 2 sisters. I want you to be able to protect them in the event that I can't. Son, this is a huge mission, and I'm entrusting part of it to you. Can you do it? His son, Kirai, looked at his father and has his face transform with glee as his father has gifted him with such an important task. Yes, Dad, of course I'll do it. With me and you, both of us will be able to protect Mom and Yui and Nico. Now, Kirai doesn't notice it now, nor did he notice it when he was 4, but Akio, when he said both, had a slight grimace. But that grimace quickly faded, and he continues. Good boy, Kirai. I have a mission today, so make sure to keep them safe for me. Remember, if I can't return, if I never return on a mission someday, I'm entrusting you to keep them safe. His dad then got up and opened the door, and unknown to Kirai at the time, or the rest of his family, That would be the last time that he saw his father, Akio, alive. Kira then abruptly wakes up from this dream and hears someone scream outside of his home. He listens closely, pressing his ears up against a grimy window, and hears yet another scream that sounds familiar. Yui? Kira then rushes downstairs and out into the moonlit night, following the screams within the night. Yui? Yui! Where are you? Kira rushes down the street as he sees his sister's blonde hair being pulled around the corner. He then leaps around that corner and sees his sister being verbally berated and physically attacked with 10 people all around her age, either 16 or 17, throwing bottles and rocks and other projectiles at her. This is what happens when you try to defend your failure of a brother. That person then throws a rock that lands and hits Yui's head, and her body collapses. No! Kira then appears next to his sister and throws her over his shoulder, then rushes back to the end of the alley. Yui, are you alright? Kira shakes his sister up a bit, and her eyes slowly flutter open. Kirai? Her vision and mental state then focuses. Kirai, what are you doing here? No. They'll hurt you. I came to help you, Yui. What happened to make these people attack you? Someone from behind him speaks up. We called you a failure and a freak, and when she heard that, she slapped our friend over here, who didn't take that gesture too kindly. Kirai's light blue eyes and light red eyes then widen. Is this true, Yui? Is this all because you tried to defend me? Yui shakes her head. I'm so sorry, Kirai. A good big sister shouldn't make her little brother worry. Tears then stream down her face as she passes out once more. Kirai's body stiffens up as he lays his sister down gently and tells her to hold on. He knows that his sister did get hit in the head, and she is bleeding from her skull. Kira then gets up in the alleyway. The alleyway is then covered in a suffocating presence. His usually lightly colored eyes then turn vibrant, with his red eye turning a burning crimson, and his blue eye turning as blue as the middle of a deep ocean. You are going to pay for that! The group that harmed his sister then bursts out laughing. Pay for what? Calling you a failure? Calling you what you are? Kira then turned to them. No, not for that. You'll pay for two things. Making me break my promise to my father, and even worse, making my sister cry. Kira then slowly walks towards them, amplifying his chakra and increasing his physical abilities, just like his father had once long ago told him. Kira then rushes towards the first guy, the one who threw the object that knocked his sister out, and grabs his wrists. He then spins him and slams him to the ground, knocking him out with one swift blow. He then turns to the next two people next to him and leaps into the air just high enough for him to reach their face. Then, with a quick spin kick, he hits them with just enough force to knock their brains around. He then runs through 4 more of them, dismantling these people with no difficulty. Then, he looks and he faces off with the final 3, who all seem to be bigger and stronger than the rest. But Kirai continues, his anger just fueling him, making him disregard the hatred that he has for violence. As he beats down 2 more of them, his mind can only think of one idea. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this feeling. The adrenaline rushing through my body and the sound of my heart racing in my ears. The feeling of my fists snapping the bones in their skulls. I hate this feeling more than anything. Then Kirai finishes off the goons and looks at the final person. The person who insulted Kirai and got Yui in this position in the first place. This guy, however, seeing that he has no chance, runs over to his sister and pulls out a blade and holds it to her throat. Don't you move! If you so much as move an inch, I'll kill her right now! Kirai stops, not moving and not wanting his sister to get hurt, so he tries to de-escalate the situation with a threat that'll make him drop her. If you so much as touch her for 1 more second, I'll rip your arms from your torso and beat you to death with them. This guy then drops you in complete fear of this 6-year-old and runs away, dropping Yui. Quickly, Kirai comes sliding across the floor to save his sister's head from hitting the ground, and he puts Yui on his back. Come on, we're going home. As Kirai holds Yui on his back, the sun starts coming up, and he enters his home. Nico, seeing this, gets up and asks what happened. I'll explain later, Nico. But here's all you need to know. I've decided. I'm going to become a shinobi. It's the only way. Nico looks up at Kirai with an estranged look. Shinobi? No, no, no. I won't let you. I thought the idea of fighting on purpose and getting into conflicts disgusts you, Kirai. Kirai nods his head to everything that Nico is saying to him, with every bit of it being true. I know, Nico. I hate fighting more than anyone. You know this, and I know this. But that is just me being cowardly. What would Dad think? What would Mom think if the only reason I didn't become a shinobi is because I don't enjoy fighting? I need to do it for the sake of our family. If I was faster, if I was stronger, or more intimidating, those people wouldn't have dared laid a hand on Yui. If I held the title of a shinobi, and had a high rank one at that, I would become someone who would be able to protect you just like Dad wanted. No one would dare touch you guys if they knew that I was a jonin, or even a chunin. Also, Nico, we have to just face the facts. We need money. And if I become a shinobi and go on every mission possible, take every exploitation that I can possibly use, I will be able to make enough money for us to eat consistently. And we'll never have to live in fear of our roof being taken over our heads or us not being able to eat that day. With Dad dead and Mom sick, this is my burden to bear, and I accept it. Kirai. Nico's voice trails off as she is in awe of her brother's selflessness, wisdom, level-headedness, and every other trait that was just demonstrated through that one single speech, that one short monologue. But when she hears this, there is also a twinge of sadness that falls upon her heart. She wonders if she is truly a massive burden to her brother, and if that's the case, maybe he'd be happier without his two older sisters being essentially helpless and not providing for the brother that they care for so much. Nico then nods at Kirai and steps in for a hug. She pulls him in, acting extremely opposite to the usually calm and emotionally neutral Nico, but she pulls him in for a tight hug and lets tears fall down her face onto his cheek. As Kirai feels these tears, he wipes them off of his sister's face. He looks into Nico's light blue eyes and feels an overwhelming amount of intense heat building up within his chest. It's determination. I have to protect them at all costs. I swear, Dad, I'll maintain my promise. Kirai then, after a bit of time, escapes from the hug, wriggling away and opens the door. I'm going to go register for the academy, okay? I probably won't be home as much, but I swear every day I'll bring back food and money, okay? Kirai then closes the door behind him and rushes to the center of the Leaf Village, where the academy is. Upon arrival, he sees many other children entering the gates of the academy with their parents by their side strolling them on in. Instinctively, or maybe just out of desire, Kirai reaches, and he outstretches his hand, feeling for the loving touch of his father or mother or even his sisters to help him keep the nerve to enter, but his hand finds no one else, and he just balls up his empty fist. I have to protect them. I have to. He then walks in and follows the process of signing up and making sure that he is the correct age for being able to enter the academy. And after a few minutes of paperwork and this sort of that, Kirai has now officially become an academy student. Aruka-sensei, the instructor for the academy students, then makes an entrance in front of all the students and greets them. Kirai watches him walk over to many separate people, many separate individuals that he finds noticeable. One person that is pretty large, pretty enlarged, and if he remembers from the Akamichi clan. Another person who seems pretty boring to look at, right? But he recognizes from the Nara clan and the symbol and basically like the attributes that the Nara clan has. He looks over at many people. Someone with really a large forehead and pink, bright hair. He looks at many different people. Then the most notable to him are the people from well-renowned clans like the Uchiha clan, which has a boy no older than him with jet black hair, jet black eyes, and a slight smile to tie it all together. He then gazes over at some girl who he can tell is descended from the Hyuga clan based off of her pale eyes. These two immediately catch his eye since he doesn't know, or he does know about their clan, but not them themselves. But another boy who is extremely boisterous and loud then draws attention to himself. I'm going to become Hokage! Believe it! Kira then looks over to this kid, and can only chuckle when hearing that. Not because he thinks this is absurd, but he genuinely finds that kid funny. He finds that outburst funny. He sees that blonde-haired kid as an interesting person. Then it's his turn to be introduced, and he introduces himself to Haruka, shaking his hand somewhat awkwardly, not really having interactions with anyone but his family at that point. But after the slow introduction, the children are allowed to hang out with each other and mingle they do. Almost all of the female students flock to Sasuke Uchiha and completely swarm him, overwhelming him with attention and people trying to hug him and get close to him and really just touch him in general. Kirai's conviction and mission allows him not to really care about his social standings with the other students, so he walks over to sit by his lonesome and formulate a way to become a strong shinobi. If I had to bet, I'd say that Uchiha guy is the strongest. Uchiha are well known for their dojutsu and their just innate talent. If I want to become that, I have to train even harder than he does, train for longer and train smarter. But first things first, I need to see the gap between us. Kira then gets up and rushes towards the crowded Sasuke. Then he immediately leaps over the other people, using chakra to insert it into his legs and jump over them. And he immediately leaps towards him and yanks Sasuke out, and grabs his hand and yanks him out of the crowd. This surprises and enrages a lot of the females around everyone, including Sasuke himself, for while he's not enraged, he is surprised. But after doing this seemingly rude act, Kirai bows his head. Uchiha, would you please fight me so I can gauge the skill difference between us? Sasuke looks at Kirai, confused and puzzled as to why he was bowing before him and being extremely formal with someone who is his age, and Sasuke decides to, manually lift Kirai's head up. My name is Sasuke, and if you're asking to spar with me, we can right now. No need to be overtly formal. Kirai looks up and nods. Thank you, Sasuke. Thank you, Sasuke. Kirai and Sasuke then leap away from each other simultaneously. Every new student in the academy gathers around them, and for the most part, Sasuke is the one who's seen most favorable to win this fight, with Kirai being a complete unknown. As soon as the battle starts, however, Kirai leaps at Sasuke and throws a kick towards Sasuke's face that nearly outspeeds him and blindsides him. Although, through more experience, Sasuke is able to duck this attack and leap backwards, narrowly avoiding any damage that he could have taken there. Sasuke, quickly after dodging this, leaps back at Kirai and slams his elbow into his nose, knocking Kirai onto his butt as he slides across the dirt. Kirai feels the blood drip down from his nostrils. He looks down at his blood, slightly distracted and rocked from this hit, and then Sasuke comes up with another solid kick to the stomach that drops Kirai to his knees. As he falls and as he's on his knees gasping for air, he can only think that this kid is something else. He is only my age, but he fights with way too much skill and finesse. There's no way that there shouldn't be possible. The skill gap is just far too much. He doesn't understand it. He can't really comprehend why Sasuke Uchiha is above him. Kirai is then able to get up and somewhat parry an attack from Sasuke, although this parry does make him lose balance and knocks him over. After falling for this final time, Kirai does not get back up. His face lays in the ground and his resolve once more has hardened. He is not actually weakened from this loss. This loss has only made him stronger. It's only made him hungrier for power. It's only made him hungrier to get stronger and become strong enough so that no one can ever harm him or his loved ones. His face is bruised and his body is broken, but his mind is working harder and more than it ever has. After being completely bodied by Sasuke, Kirai attempts to get up. When he does this, however, he realizes that he most likely fractured, if not broke his arm directly in that parry, and he winces in pain as he collapses back onto the ground. Damn it. Looks like there's still too much of a barrier. Kirai then looks up as he sees someone standing in front of him. It's that blonde, loud kid from earlier. What was his name again? Before he can even ask, the kid speaks up. Hi, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Would you like to be my friend? Naruto looks up, or he looks down, I should say, with Kirai looking up, particularly confused by that question. You want to be friends with me? Naruto smiles warmly when he asks this question, outstretches his hand. Well, of course I do. You challenged that Sasuke guy to a fight just like I would have. That means that we'd be alike, and we should be friends. As Kirai looks up at Naruto, and the innocence that is held behind his eyes and smile with no ulterior motive behind, Kirai can't help but chuckle to himself. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We should be friends. He then outstretches his not broken arm to Naruto as he gets helped up. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Naruto. I'm Kirai. Kirai Kadoku. And that, everybody, is where I'm going to end Chapter 1 to the What If I Was in Naruto series. I can usually gauge how you guys will react to certain videos, certain concepts, all that kind of good stuff. I can usually see, oh, you like this video, you like that video. I can see common things between them. With this video, I genuinely have no idea if you guys will like it, hate it, be mid about, like, think it's a mid video for me. All that, whatever, right? I genuinely have, like, no idea what the reception to this is going to be at all, which is not uncomfortable, but it's an unusual feeling, right? Like, I usually can gauge how well a video will be received, and in this instance, I am having trouble doing so because, while I think that this has a lot of potential to grow and become something, like, really interesting, the only reason I think that is because I know what I'm planning, like, for, like, future chapters, right? You guys don't necessarily know that, and I don't want you guys, like, I'm not trying to make One Piece, right? I'm not trying to say, like, oh, stick around because it gets good by chapter 455, right? If you guys enjoy it, let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I'll be premiering this, or I'll have premiered this as usual. You guys can let me know, like, during the premiere, in the comments. It's perfectly fine if you guys don't enjoy this. This isn't, like, going to be taking the place of, like, my normal what ifs. If you guys are concerned about that, that won't be the case. You don't need to worry about that. It's just something that I personally like doing. I liked this idea of branching out, like, a little bit into more, like, nuanced storytelling. Maybe you could say that. But I don't know. We'll see how you guys receive it, right? If you don't like it, that's fine. I may just start working on this and post it in the background on the second channel, if that is the case. But if there is some decent reception to this, or even good reception, I'll continue to post it on here, pretty sporadically. Just in case, like, I don't know how you guys are going to receive it. So if you like the video, hit the like button, do all that good stuff. If you're somehow new to the channel and you're, like, watching this video, consider subscribing and hitting the bell. If you liked it. If you didn't, consider checking out all the other videos on the channel, because you may like those if you like what ifs in general. Anyways, as usual, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, guys, this is Anime X, who's in Naruto now, signing off.